Welcome, friends and listeners, Spran Inquisitors. I'm Jake.
I'm Jax. We are your Elantrian analysts. Join us this week as we dive into the Coppermind.
Into the Coppermind, indeed. Jax, how was your trip?
It was good. Yeah,
Good.
for those of you who, if anybody's following the podcast, they know we didn't record last week. We released part 2 of our episode last week from the week before. I was out of town for like 5 days for a family vacation.
Yeah.
Much needed vacation. Well rested, ready to get back to it. So
Nice. Fun.
how's your last 2 weeks been? Anything exciting?
I had a sister-in-law get married,
Fun.
so that was cool. It was a party.
Okay.
But nothing. Nothing crazy. Just work.
Okay.
Just work, you know.
I had a lot of work. I did have something crazy happen.
Okay.
I got in a car accident yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, you did.
I was sitting, and Jake already knows this because Jake and I talk every day.
Yeah, we're kind of besties or something. I don't know.
But I was sitting at a stoplight. I was in a left turn lane waiting to turn left. The cross traffic both had green lights and a yield arrow for like the left turn traffic for both directions. And somebody from my right, there were 3 cars that turned left in quick succession, and the third one just wasn't paying attention, didn't realize that there was a car coming through, and got T-boned hard.
Yeah.
Like, this car was traveling probably, the speed limit was like 45 miles an hour, and they were traveling at the speed limit. So this car just right on the side, it busted out the back window, obviously both side windows, but it pushed that car into my car.
Yeah.
So I was obviously not at fault. I didn't do anything wrong. I was just sitting in a left turn lane waiting for like the light to change.
Yeah.
And this car got T-boned and pushed into me. Everyone was alive,
That's good.
as far as I know. The car that got T-boned got taken away in an ambulance, but they seemed okay.
Okay.
And I drove my car away. It could have been worse, but it's going to be a significant amount of damage. So
Yeah, that happened yesterday.
yeah, that was last night at like 6:13 when
Yeah.
the accident happens.
So luckily you seem like you're okay.
I'm doing great.
No injuries.
I was expecting to wake up this morning and have some stiffness or soreness from something because I saw it coming and I braced for impact.
Yeah.
And like grabbed my steering wheel and just like braced, and I was expecting some repercussions, but I feel great.
Yeah. Hilariously, we have that on video.
We have my reaction to the whole scene playing out on video. I also have a video of like
The street
the
view.
street view of the accident.
Yeah.
I've got good coverage of this.
So we have an app. It's called Marco Polo. It's basically where you guys like just send videos of like we talk and it sends a video, but you could also like watch it live.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a FaceTime where you can like start and stop it almost.
Yeah, it's a FaceTime, but you don't have to be there live. You can,
Yeah.
but you don't have to be there live. You're just sending videos back and forth.
So Jax was FaceTiming me and his brother, not FaceTiming. Jax was Marco Poloing me and his brother, and he was talking about a Cosmere theory sort of thing. Like we were talking Cosmere, and he stops, and he's like looking around because he hears honking.
Yeah, you can hear the horn in the background.
And his eyes widen, and he like grabs his steering wheel, and he's like, "What do I do?" And then it just like the phone gets knocked off the dashboard, and you just hear him scream, and you're like, "What?" Picks up his phone. He's like, "I'm fine, guys. I just got hit. Like, my plans are canceled. Gotta go."
I did actually make it to my plans.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
I was tied up in the accident and everything. The police,
Yeah.
took my license and filed a police report, took the insurance and everything. And I was on my way. There was a book sale going on. I was like 3 minutes away.
We're such nerds.
Books are my life, guys, apparently. I was
talking about the Cosmere.
I was heading to a bookstore, but it was this bookstore where they were doing a sale where they had a bunch of books that were like $1 or $2.
Yeah.
But I also got some fancier books. One was like $30, like nice looking books. You guys can't see them. They're all sitting on the shelf over there.
Oh, yeah,
I
you haven't even showed me.
No, I haven't. I got 7 books.
Oh, wow.
I got like a nice fancy copy of Gulliver's Travels, Aesop's Fables, and then some other stuff by Clive Cussler. And I paid $60 for all 7 of them.
That's
So
crazy.
it was kind of nice.
Well, shall we
I guess, we should get into the
dive into the book?
dive into the book, I guess.
So we always start with Raoden's chapter, and this one is kind of heavy. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like there is a lot to talk about.
There's a
in
lot
this
to talk
chapter.
about. Thankfully, it was a fair, like, page-wise, shorter chapter.
Like
It
12.
was like 12 pages.
Yeah.
But yes, there's plenty to talk about.
So we always start with the Aeon at the top of the chapters. And this one is Aeon Eon, which means willpower and endurance,
Which we've seen before in Eondell's name.
as well as in Sion, kind of.
Kinda,
'Cause
yeah.
Sion has 2, and the other one, Sio,
Is the
fits.
base Aeon.
It fits a lot better to what Sions are.
Yeah.
Because it's service and something. Yeah.
Yeah, so and we'll actually see another one in here today. There's people who have
2 Aeons.
2 Aeons, like, but it's typically, I think, coincidence as
Right.
I think it's just one Aeon is
Like,
the base.
they're named after one Aeon, and it's just how the name's spelled coincidentally has another Aeon in it.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean they were named after that second Aeon.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I think there's someone we're gonna see today named Miela.
Yes.
And she could have Aeon Ale.
Yep.
But her Aeon is technically Mie.
Yep.
So anyway,
moving on. So this chapter starts with a flashback, kind of.
okay, so I'm not gonna lie.
Yes.
I started reading the chapter,
Mm-hmm.
was so lost.
Really?
Yeah. I'm like looking at this, I'm like,
You're like, what's going
did
on?
I jump to the end of the book? Like, what is happening? Because it says in here, I kid you not, I flipped to the cover to make sure I was reading the right book.
The first line in this chapter is, "The city of Elantris glowed brilliantly."
Correct.
And you went, "Am I reading Elantris?" That was your first move?
Unfortunately, that was my first. I was reading a little early in the morning this morning, guys. But it says, "The city of Elantris glowed brilliantly. The very stones shone as if each one held a fire within. The shattered domes had been restored." So
Hey.
that was my point where I was like, am I reading the right chapter right now? Because obviously, this is Elantris has already been destroyed and restored.
Yes. So this is cool because I wrote in here, I was like, this is kind of the only little insight we get to Elantris long ago. So it says, right, the domes had been restored. The wall was no longer a barrier, for its gates were left permanently open. It existed not to protect, but for cohesion. The wall was part of the city somehow, an essential element of the whole. Without each, Elantris would not be complete. So basically,
So I'm going to stop you for just 1 second because I know we actually are going to have different takes on this.
okay,
So continue with your thought. I'm going to have a different take than you on this.
okay. Now, I don't know how you know that because
Just from what you said, I
Okay,
can tell
okay,
what
okay.
your take is.
okay.
We're going to have different takes on this.
Obviously, Elantris used to be closed off to people. Can we agree on that?
I disagree.
Why?
'Cause, that's what I'm saying. We're going to have different
Okay.
takes.
So here's how I took it. Elantris has not always been this peaceful symbol of, giving and always, accepting everybody,
Mm-hmm.
as it was known shortly before the Riod. Somehow domes had been shattered
Mm-hmm.
and the gates were closed, and it says they existed no longer to protect, which means for whatever reason, the wall used to be closed and to protect people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, all I'm saying is like, it seems Elantris has not always been the symbol of peace and cohesion and like welcomeness that we have mostly known it for pre-Riot.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yes. So I have a different take
Okay.
because this is not just a flashback. Raoden is having a dream.
Yes.
And it shows us later he's waking up from the dream.
Yeah.
And most of my dreams, fit in with my timeline. And so when Raoden's having this dream, the memories of Elantris being closed and destroyed and shattered and everything is his current life. And so he's dreaming
Oh.
here, but it's saying like the shattered domes had been restored and the city glowed with an inner light. So I don't think it was actually like Elantris had been destroyed because Raoden would have never known that because Raoden's
Yeah,
only
you're
8 at the
right.
time.
You are
And
right.
Elantris had been standing for I don't know how long Elantris had been standing, but well before Raoden was born. So I'm just saying this flashback is like this couple of paragraphs is in Raoden's mind. He's like, oh my goodness, Elantris has been restored.
You're totally right. That's totally how it's supposed to be. I saw these and I jumped on it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh. Like past, like history. We don't get any history. This is history. It didn't even clock to me that like this is obviously through Raoden's eyes,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how it would be perceived. Because like it kind of separates it.
It does.
It's kind of like, hey, this is the city and it's restored and it's great now. And then
it jumps into Raoden's
yeah. It's not until the next page when it says like this confirmed to the boy, giving him a familiar reference. Like
Mhm.
that's on the entirely next page. So
Yeah.
it does a page of like making it seem this is actually how Elantris was back then.
Yeah.
Dang, I missed that. Good job. Good job. Um, it talks a little bit about what Kid Raoden saw
Yeah.
when he went to Elantris. And this is where we find out that they have like transporters. They like have carved Aeon Tae or Tia like carved places.
That's awful. That
Tae.
yeah, because it should be Tae.
Yeah.
And I hate that so much.
And so an Elantrian could walk up to it, place their hand over it. The Elantrian will flash and then disappear. And this is because it's a transportation method.
Right.
Which just confirms to me, I think when we talked about it earlier, we were like, how does that work? And I said that like, well, the Elantrians obviously providing the door for that Aeon.
Right.
And I think this confirms it, where it's like the Elantrian flashes after they put their hand over it, and then they teleport.
Yeah.
We also learn that, or maybe it's later in the chapter, so maybe I'll save that comment. Never mind.
Okay.
So we then see there is a son and a father and a mother going to Elantris because the son's leg is broken and he got infected. And this is
Raoden,
Iadon.
Iadon, and Raoden's dead mother.
Yes.
Iadon's wife now is Ishen.
Yep.
Ishin. But
she is not like Raoden's
birth mother. Yeah, she's Raoden's stepmom. We don't ever meet Raoden's birth mother. But it says the father carried his son tightly, looking around with distrust.
Yeah.
Not everyone adored the Elantrians. Some were suspicious. And so this is just like an inner look into like Iadon's mentality about Elantris.
Yes.
And we get even further into it, right? Because it talks a little bit more. It says his mother was a little bit more nervous than distrustful. Like she was nervous to be there.
Yeah.
She'd never been there, but she didn't have like the same suspicion and distrust.
Yeah.
But she was a little nervous.
And Iadon, even before they went to Elantris, he tried everything he could to not go to Elantris.
To such an extreme point that it like blows my mind. Because it says here, like, his father had hired the best surgeons and doctors, but they had been unable to stop the infection. So this is what happened is Raoden fell, broke his leg in several places.
High up on his leg as well.
Yes. To a point that the bone
Popped out.
Yeah, popped, like, was sticking out of his skin.
Mm-hmm.
It said it had fractured in at least a dozen places. To me, that's that's worth a trip to Elantris in and of
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah.
And so for Iodon to come in and be like, he's hiring all these best doctors, they set the bone, all this and this and this, but it got infected. Like there's been time now.
Yes.
It got infected, and the infection has run its course to the point that the doctors don't even think amputation will save him
Mhm.
because of how high up on his leg. They're like, it's probably
Yeah.
already in his torso. It wasn't until that point that Iodon was like, okay, let's go to Elantris.
Yeah, it's
you know?
crazy. It's crazy. I'm a father.
Yeah.
I go to Elantris right the same day, bro. Especially one, well, like maybe this is talking more to like how healthcare is in America. The Elantrians will do it for free,
Yeah.
for one, and they'll do it instantly.
Do it for free, do it instantly. And it's not like you're not already dependent upon Elantris. Elantris provides food for the entire country.
Yes.
So it's not like some obscure, like, it's not a Dakor monastery that you're like, oh, we need to take our kid into the.
You're not going to
Elantris.
you're not going to a Jesker Mysteries cult
Yeah.
like ceremony.
I think Idon would have been more.
He probably
More
would have. He would have been
comfortable.
like, "Oh, let's just go to the mysteries. Like we'll grab one of the peasants and do some stuff, and it might heal him. It might heal him, right?
Right?
Oh, but wait, we got to wait for lunar eclipse. So can you hold on like 40 more days?
No, but yeah, like I just wild to me because I don't feel like Elantris is so. I mean, their city's right next to Elantris. It's
Yeah.
not like some obscure, like hidden in the dark thing. Obviously, the gates are always open.
Yeah.
Like it's a bright city. So it's just crazy to me that it took them that long to take their kid to Elantris.
Yeah, Iodon and L father for sure. I found the line which I was going to refer to, and then I was like, wait, maybe it's later. It says, so talking about Elantris, sorry, we're jumping back a little bit.
That's fine.
It said, equally unmistakable, there were the Aeons. The ancient glyphs covered the city. They were etched into walls, painted on doors, written on signs. Most of them were inert, simple markings, rather than runes with an arcane purpose.
Interesting.
So this line, because we had talked and we were like, does every Aeon have a physical manifestation when like you were to draw it on everything or
Right.
whatever? And this kind of muddies the water more.
It muddies the water, but I don't think it completely negates the idea that every Aeon could, because investiture works off of intent.
Right.
So you can draw an Aeon, and if you don't have the intent to access the invested art, you won't create a useful Aeon.
Yeah.
So,
So do you think that like if someone who like if you weren't an Elantrian, right? You drew an Aeon on a piece of paper. Do you think an Elantrian could then walk up to that piece of paper and like activate it?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Um,
You think it has to have the intent when it was
created.
Okay.
Yep.
I think I'm fine with that.
I think I'm gonna roll with that. I've learned a little bit about intent. I've been reading a bit about it on the Coppermind. I learned about intent in conjunction with hemalurgy,
Oh,
which was kind of crazy.
we
We're
don't
not
have
gonna
time.
no, we're not gonna get into it. But it was kind of crazy.
So moving on, Raoden gets taken to an Elantrian.
Yeah. This says they took the boy to a domed building. He nearly forgot his pain as the door opened on its own, sliding inward without a sound.
Yeah.
How?
How?
How? Like what is set up for them to approach a door? Because obviously they're not powering an Aeon. So is there somebody looking at a peephole inside and like powering the Aeon? Or is it like
I'm assuming that you could probably draw a like activation, like if this then that.
right.
So maybe when they drew the Aeon for like open for this door, it was like specifying when someone gets within this distance, activate.
Yeah. And then every once in a while, every so often, somebody would just have to go
Recharge it, maybe. Yeah.
But then that raises the question for me, could somebody else use an Aeontia? If they're able to activate this Aeon to open the door just by approaching, could like an Elantrian charge an Aeontia and somebody else use it?
Technically, I'm gonna say, like, yes. Like, if you know the specifications for it,
Mm-hmm.
because you can do specifications like transport me as well as
Yeah.
this person. So I'm sure there's, like, a specification where you can say, like, when someone walks up to here. But that would also be, like, kinda like, imagine you're just walking past this thing and all of a sudden you're transported somewhere. Like, I doubt they would use that. That's
Yeah.
why they use the whole, like, put your hand over it. So maybe I think if the Aeon's charged, is that, like, really a thing? Can you charge up an Aeon?
To be used at a later time. I don't know.
I don't know. Anyways, I don't think we have time to really speculate
Yeah,
on this.
I'm interested to hear your guys' thoughts on that as to whether or not like you can charge an Aeon but have it turn on and off, because all an Aeon is a portal to access the door,
Mhm.
basically. So how do we have a functional Aeon Tia that's not providing light? You know, because obviously they can turn it on and off. So what is that? Can you charge something up to be used later, or does it have to be instantaneous, or like,
I don't know.
yeah, we're gonna stop right there and not dive deeper into that. But I'm interested to know your guys' thoughts.
So, I have a little theory for you here.
Okay.
So it goes through the Elantrian draws Aeon Ayin with a bunch of different specifications and heals Raoden's leg. Okay.
Hmm.
And there's a line here, and then a line a little further down. It says, the women traced carefully, completing Aeon Ayin, but it wasn't just an Aeon. It wasn't just Aeon Ayin. It was more complex. The core was the familiar Aeon of healing, but there were dozens of lines and curves at the sides. Blah, 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 blah. One final mark at the side of her complex construction, and the Aeon began to glow. Blah, 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 blah. Okay?
Okay.
Do you think that this dream is actually a vision from the door? Now, stay with me here. Raoden wakes up to a door attack. Okay, he wakes up and he's in immense pain. It says there's a surge of agony, which we know that's not how Elantrian pain works. Elantrian pain is constant, it doesn't come and go. But here he goes, he clamped his teeth shut, gritting them against the surge of agony. So we know that he's having a door attack here.
Okay.
Do you think that? So, jumping later in the book, when Raoden is about to get thrown into the perpendicularity, he almost kind of has another vision of Elantris being, you know, an Aeon and the chasm line. I almost feel like this dream could be a vision from the door showing Raoden how to fix it. Specifically because of the line saying one final mark on the side of her Aeon and it started to glow brightly. I almost could say that one final line being the chasm, because every time they use the chasm line later, they always put it last. They say they draw the Aeons and then they mark it with the chasm line and the Aeon works. And it seems oddly familiar to this. Thoughts?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think this is just a memory. Obviously, it's a very vivid dream and a vivid memory, and I won't say that it is not inspired by the door.
Okay.
But I don't think that what she drew there was the chasm line. It says on the side, at the side, I guess. So maybe, but I just don't think so.
Okay. Take away the chasm line thing. Him having a dream about previous Elantris and then waking up to a door attack. You don't think that could have some connection there? Because he's obviously, the door is obviously trying to channel through him at this very moment. And he's
Yeah.
having this dream. You don't think that's maybe just a little coincidental?
I don't. No.
I think you're being a hater.
Okay.
I think that's a great theory.
One thing during the dream, it said the boy could feel the power. He could sense it raging to be free, but only this little was allowed to escape.
Mhm.
And I thought that was interesting. I was wondering,
Mark
like,
that as well.
has at that point, has Raoden already been like chosen by the door, or can everybody feel that? Because I don't feel like everybody feels that.
No, we never hear anyone else really say anything like that.
Yeah.
Where they're like, oh, there's this raging power in there that's trying to get out. I'm saying, that kind of leans towards it being a door vision. I think it's a dream. And so I don't think, like, was Kid Raoden in Elantris going like, oh, that thing's raging? I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think that part really happened. I think that's part of his now conscious kind of ripping into it.
Okay.
Or
That's fine.
Or influence of the door kind of showing him, hey,
Like, I want to be free.
man, I want to be free. This is how you do it. This is how you do it. I think I'm right.
Okay.
That's my headcanon.
Good take.
Door vision.
Door vision.
Door vision.
Moving on.
Door attack. Raoden wakes up. He's in agony.
In agony.
Fights it back and moves on.
He says Raoden groaned, leaning forward and grabbing his legs as he fought the pain. His body could no longer sweat.
Yeah. That's kind of crazy.
But they still eat. They still drink.
Yeah, well, sweating is the way your body regulates your temperature.
Yeah.
And they don't need to do that.
That's fair.
So they wouldn't need to sweat.
All right. You're right.
Yeah.
We'll move past my
I did mark this. He comments on like, why do Elantrians have to sleep?
Yeah.
And I marked that and I was like trying to come up with anything on like, why would they have to sleep? And I couldn't come up with anything.
I got nothing.
I couldn't, yeah.
Do you guys have any theories on why Elantrians have to sleep when they don't have to eat, breathe, drink? Never, like,
nothing.
Why do they have to sleep? Let us know.
Like, I don't think sleeping rejuvenates their energy or anything.
I don't know.
Like, do they get tired? Are they like, oh, I need to hit the hay, and then they wake up and they're like, hey, ready for the day?
Yeah, I don't know. Because just the fact that he's posing this question to me kind of means that he's tried not sleeping.
Yeah.
And can't not sleep. And so, because my one thought was like, well, they don't need breath, but they still breathe. So I was wondering if them sleeping is just a matter of habit. But because he's even making the comment, I'm assuming he's tried staying up.
I think so.
And has been unsuccessful.
I think so. We get a little some numbers here. He's talking about his mom and how she had been 12 years dead,
mm-hmm.
and that he was 8 years old when they went to Elantris to get his leg fixed, which means Raoden is at least 20 years old.
At least?
Yeah, because there could have been time between him breaking his leg and his mom dying, right?
Oh, you're
but
right.
He has 8 years here, 12 years since his mom died, and if his mom was with him when he was 8 years old, that means he's at least 20 years old.
Yeah.
But we don't know how much time passed between him breaking his leg and her dying.
You're right.
So we wondered about his age a little bit because Sereni's 25.
Yeah.
So we were like, do you think he's 25? Is he younger? Is he older? He's at least 20. So close enough, I guess.
Legal.
Oh, okay. I don't think anyone was accusing Serini of, grooming or anything.
Oh, we got a comment on our TikTok
Uh-huh.
that was it was if you guys don't follow us on TikTok, Jake posted a video where he was basically asking for like your hot takes as far as like ships in the Cosmere.
Like relationship
Yes.
ships. Yeah.
And somebody commented recently and they were like, Kaladin and Syl. And they said that which I know is not that hot of a take,
It's really not.
but they said that like when they've talked about it before, that people accuse Kaladin of grooming. I'm like, Syl is an immortal,
Like
Syl's been alive for so long. What are we talking
Syl
about
is
right now?
technically older than Roshar, if you really want to get down to it, because she is created from investiture that dates back to at least Ada Nulcium.
I mean, yeah, but everybody's created from matter that's been around.
Okay,
like,
but
you could
Syl
say the
is-
same thing.
Syl is essentially...
But Syl was like created by honor.
Sure. If you're wanting to go by like that date.
Yeah. But even then, hundreds
at least. Maybe thousands?
thousands.
Yeah.
Thousands?
How long has...
We are not going to
Here's
get
the
into
problem.
that right now.
Here's the problem with trying to guess years in the Cosmere is Brandon refuses to actually set certain timelines.
Yeah.
Because he's like, oh, well, I might need to use it in the future and I don't want to like
Confine
myself. So like us being like, how long has this been this? It's all just guesses.
Yeah, it's conjecture.
Essentially. It's like, well, like educated guesses for sure. But anyways, what were we talking about? Oh yeah. Sereni's not a groomer. Now, moving on. He checks up on his people, so he had Seolin waiting for him at his door.
Yes. Sorry. Right before that, one note, it said Iadon had spoken harshly of Elantris as they left. So he just took his kid to Elantris. They healed him
Instantly.
saved his life.
Yep.
And he's bashing him on the way out the door.
He's walking out like talking bad about them.
I'm like, what?
And then it says Raoden had contradicted the words with vehemence.
Mm-hmm.
It was the first time Raoden could remember taking a position against his father. After that, there had been many others.
Yeah.
So this
we know.
Yes.
We know that like Raoden and Iadon never like didn't see eye to eye.
Yeah.
Went back and forth. But this is where it started.
This is where it started, and I love it. I love it started at 8 years old.
So anyway,
now he gets out of bed. He leaves his sleeping chambers. Seolin, his guard, basically. His
Captain
soldier,
of the guard now is what we're going to call him.
Captain of the guard.
Captain of the guard. Because he's recruited some other members, including Dash. Which came from Karada's game. Yep. So he's Gang. He's recruited a few other members into the guard.
Yes. So Raoden's kind of like, you don't gotta do that.
Because Seolin's like waiting outside his door.
Yeah. So. And walks with him.
Yeah.
And then he's like, you don't gotta do that. Like, I'm not that special. And Seolin's like, you're special. Raoden's probably the most special person in Elantris at this moment.
Hands down.
Easily. So who? No, I heard it. Who?
Ryan is kind of cool, I guess.
I'm not even going to dignify that with a response, okay? But I will tell these guys. Rhino is an Elantrian who we then see in the Stormlight archives when Kaladin, Adolin, Shalon's there, right? Shalon
and Azure, I think.
And Azure, they're in Shadesmar, and he is the keeper, the lighthouse keeper. That guy is in this book, and we will point him out
in this chapter.
So look forward to that. Anyways, not Kaladin. Raoden is the most important person in Elantris. Probably the most important person in
Haralon. Or in Cycla, Obi-Wan.
I don't know. Like Wern might be more important.
Worm's pretty important. Wan Shilu. I don't.
But
We don't know what timeline is.
I don't
She might not be on cell right now.
yeah. So we'll just say at least an Erelon. Can we agree with that? Are you trying to find someone more important than Erelon?
No. I think Raoden takes the cake.
Cool. So he's like, you're important. Like this is, and like Elantris is a dangerous place. So like, yeah, we're gonna guard you. Anything. Anyway,
Anything.
sorry.
So they're just chatting a little bit, and he's like, "How goes the planting?" And Saolin tells him like, "Oh, Galadon has finished the plowing, and he's organized planting teams." And they walk over. The planting's already underway. And he looked at Galadon, and like Galadon looked happy.
Yeah. So Galadon, he goes on to say like, the doula seemed to have found the secret that what was his name? Kahar had asked about when he first joined.
Yeah.
And he said that like most farmers do it just as like a living, like to get by.
Out of necessity.
Yeah, it seems like Galadon actually just enjoys farming in general. So yeah, he notices that, and then he gets attacked. Someone comes.
Not by the door.
No, not by the door, not by Saolin, not by Galadon, by one of Sheor's men.
Yes.
He jumps out of the shadows with a rusty metal bar and tries to whack him. But Saolin's quicker, blocks it, counters, and then beheads the guy.
Props to Saolin.
Well, like, it's hilarious how Raoden's like, you don't gotta be here. Saolin's like, I gotta be here. And then not even maybe 2 minutes later, he gets attacked and Saolin saves his life, you know?
Yeah.
And then there's more people that come.
Yes, but by that time, Saolin's men had also heard the commotion and ran over. So there's like 4 of them and Saolin. So there's like 5 of them, and they create this line like in front of Raoden.
And there's way more of Saolin's men. It's not Saolin's men. Nope. There's way more of Sheor's men. But since Saolin's men are more well trained, they handle them pretty easily.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it says there was 5 casualties later. So 1 death, and then 4 that I assume have become hoed.
Yes, they become hoed. Yeah. And then Galadon comes over and he's like, hey, they must have heard that like we're planting corn.
Yeah.
And that's why they attacked.
Yeah. So Raoden says, he's like, this can't continue, you know? And he's like, I don't know. How do you want to stop it? Like, I don't see how you can stop it, Sully.
And Raoden's just like, I'll figure it out. He's saying, I will not build a society on death. He doesn't enjoy killing Sheor's men.
Yes.
Which, like, we've seen from him the whole time when he went to get Tay-Ain's gang. He was, I don't want them to die. Like, we need to work together. And so that's going to go in the back of Raoden's head of just like, how can I help Sheor's men to, like, come into the fold, pretty much.
Yeah. And they recognized one of the guys.
Yeah.
And it was from Tay-Ain's or Aendin's band.
Yeah.
Which is an unfortunate confirmation to them. About 30% of Aendin's followers have made their way to Raoden's sector. And he was kind of hoping that the rest of them kind of would have just like found their way into the gutter or the corner. But they're worried that a vast majority of them have gone and joined Sheor's men.
Yes. Because although Raoden has gotten Karada's whole gang, she always had the smallest one.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was Tay-Ain, or what was his other name? Aendin's gang, who was bigger, but Sheor has always had the biggest gang.
Yeah.
And so the fact that more than half of Tay-Ain's gang, well, possibly more than half of Tay-Ain's gang has gone over to Sheor, pretty concerning, because that's like a really big group.
Yes.
So
and we do see later somewhere in the chapter, it's already said this, but they're getting all of the new people that come into Elantris.
Yep.
Saolin and Karada are bringing everybody that gets thrown in to Raoden's sector, and that's making Sheor's men, you know, more angry, more violent, more ready to attack. Like they had never grouped together and attacked another gang before because they were kind of content with the 1/3 of newcomers that made their way, to Sheor's gang.
But now they're getting none of the newcomers.
Yes.
So they're getting more desperate, pretty much. So soon after this, Raoden finally starts doing something he's wanted to do, and that's collect all the Hoid in Elantris and put them in one spot. So he dedicates a building for it, has people start moving all the Hoid to this building.
Which he's been doing for a little bit now. It's that after Karada's gang had joined him, he started doing this.
Yeah.
So these 4 men that just came and attacked him and are now Hoid, he's like, let's go put them with the others.
Yep. And he's dubbed it the Hall of the Fallen.
Beautiful name.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And he encourages his group to, go visit them and comfort them and, talk to them. And he's hoping it'll like help at least a little bit.
Yeah.
Which it kind of has. Like before it was screaming and now it's just like muttering.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
Now, nobody has made their way back from being a Hoid. So it's not like healing anybody, but yeah,
they seem more comfortable.
Tormentations have lessened.
Yes.
I don't know if that's a word.
Tormentations. It's a word now. So this is where we meet name. Raiino.
Not for the first time. We have seen him before.
So this Hoid that Raoden hears, he's in the Hall of the Fallen, and he's listening to the Hoid mantras, and he hears a couple. It has a couple here, but he hears one that goes, beautiful, once so very beautiful, and we know this is Raiino.
Yes, who was an Elantrian before the fall.
Yes, and so eventually Raoden will be like, what was so beautiful? And then he'll use different methods to have Raiino lead him somewhere, and he leads him to a perpendicularity.
Yeah.
And he throws Raiino in there, and Raiino obviously has the intent of leaving or, like getting rid of his pain, whatever. And it sends him what we can only assume to be into the cognitive realm, where as an Elantrian, he probably can take in the door, heals, and then he moves on and becomes a lighthouse keeper in Shadesmar. So, like, pretty cool. It's interesting to know that, like, the Riod is just the, like, physical barrier.
Yeah.
That's stopping.
Yeah, between the cognitive and the physical.
Yeah, so, like, if any Elantrians went into the cognitive realm, they would become full Elantrians.
Yeah.
So, kind of interesting. I like it. Anyways, there's another one, another Hoid Monstra.
Okay, so I read through these trying to see any, because the 2 more we get are life, and oh Domai, where are you? When will it end? Oh Domai.
Okay. The first one I marked.
Okay.
And I said,
I
said, bro trying to swear the first ideal.
This guy.
Which we all know starts with life before death. So he's like, life. Bro's trying.
he be trying for sure.
I thought that was funny.
You're hilarious.
I didn't do anything for the third one.
Okay.
I didn't have anything.
Okay. Well, they leave the Hall of the Fallen, and Raoden notices a tear in Saolin's clothes, and he's like, Saolin, you're hurt.
Yeah.
And Saolin's like, it's nothing, my lord. And Raoden's like, you have to accept my apology. Like, it's not nothing. It takes you one step closer.
Yeah. But then he's like, this is a great
Saolin moment.
He's like, no, my lord.
Saolin is one of my favorite characters in this book.
Cut me off.
I'm so sorry.
Saolin goes, no, my lord, I don't think it does. Each stab of pain will remind me that I earned it with honor. That is not such a bad thing, I think. Which was like chills for me. Like, oh yeah, good job, Saolin.
Yes, this line is one of the reasons. Like this interaction, like is one of the parts where I'm just like, oh,
so
love Saolin.
In there, I kind of skipped some lines there, but in there he talks about how like people went Hoid because their torture was meaningless.
Yes. Interesting concept.
Yeah.
Where, like, it's not just the pain,
Mm-hmm.
it's the pain without any meaning for life, which again is the secret.
Yeah. So it almost, if you follow that train of thought, is like, could you get like any amount of injuries as long as you had like meaning behind it and you feel the meaning of that, you wouldn't go hoeyed?
No.
Okay. Jeez. Explain yourself.
We see Salen go hoeyed like in like the next quarter of the book.
Spoiler. um Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Okay.
Unfortunate as that is, Salen has the most horrendous mantra too.
Yeah.
Makes me so sad.
Yeah, we'll get there when we get there. Anyways, Karada comes running in,
Yeah.
and she's like, "I heard that Shayor's been attacked."
That's like, you're a little late.
Like, you guys good? It's like, yeah, there was 5 casualties, all on their side.
This again, I am in the second era of Mistborn right now on my personal read.
Uh-huh.
And in the first, is it the first? Yeah. In the first book, there's a moment where Wax and Wayne are at like a dinner party. The Vanishers come in
Mm-hmm.
and start like taking all of the they start taking everybody's jewelry and money and everything, and then they take a couple of hostages, and then there's like one guy who stands up and is like, no, you can't do that, this and this and this, and Miles 100 Life shoots him.
Mm-hmm.
And then he like tells all of his guys like, you can go ahead and let loose. Wax and Wayne step in, like Wayne throws up a speed bubble, Wax and Wayne step in and wreck all of these Vanishers who have aluminum guns and everything. Anyway, after that account, the constable comes up and is like, you can't just be doing this and this and this and throwing your weight around like you own this town, like the laws here and all this stuff. And he like gets a report. He's like, how many casualties were there? And they're like 36. Or no, it was like 30 casualties and I can't remember. It was like 36. And they were like, and he was like, that's awful. This and this and this. And they're like, no. 36 casualties on their side.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, how many injured civilians? He's like, just one, my lord, and he was shot before Wax stepped in. And I was like, that kind of like was the same thing to me here, where
Same
like, everybody okay? And they're like, oh, 5 casualties. Like, on their side, you know?
Their side, yeah.
Sorry, that was a very long-winded. That was unnecessary.
I knew what you were talking about from the very beginning. I was just like waiting for you to get there.
I'm so sorry, guys. That was unnecessary,
fine.
and I apologize. And
If they hadn't read, the Wax and Wayne series
then they shouldn't have listened to it.
recently,
Oh, recently. Okay.
then that was a great reminder. And you're right, that was a great blue line connection.
No, it wasn't.
Those two things were very similar. Good job.
Okay, we're not doing that anymore.
Okay. So everything is like fine. Raoden goes back to studying the Aeon book.
Yeah.
And he's frustrated because nothing in this book, like, it's written for someone who has a deep understanding of Aeons.
Yes.
And he doesn't.
Correct.
And he's wanting to know the basics, but the book doesn't have
it just assumes that the person who knows it knows all of the basics.
Yes.
And it is explaining all of the fancy, like, side things you can do to customize, your Aeon door.
Yeah. And he said they, like, the Aeons were no longer, like, mystical to him. They were more like mathematic computations.
Yes. Which I blue-lined.
Okay.
Not much. It was just like, that is exactly Chrysala. Like, that is Chris going through and studying all of the investiture. It's not magic.
Yeah.
Like, in Chris's eye, it's not magic. It's all science, you know? So that's my one.
Yeah.
My little blue line.
If you don't know, Duchess Chrysala writes all the Ars Arcanum in the back of each book, explaining like the power systems. This is like a real character in the Cosmere. She's a world hopper, and this is what she does. She travels to different worlds and she studies the investiture. And this is exactly how Chris would have.
Yeah, and I don't know how often we see her on screen. I don't think I've
Twice?
yeah, like those are the only I can think of her in Mistborn Secret History
Mm-hmm.
and in Era 2 Mistborn.
There's 3. Well, she's in White Sand.
Well, obviously.
Yeah. So 3 times we see her.
Yeah.
But we see her in every book pretty much. Not in every book, but
Yeah, but
at
I'm
the
just
back.
I'm just wondering if we see her in every book. Like the same way that there's sometimes where like you just see Hoyd as like a small storyteller. Like,
yeah.
do we see Chrysala as just like a side character? But
I don't think so. Because Hoyd's Hoyd, and he likes like getting into the world and like being a character in the world.
yeah.
Whereas Chrysala is just like background. She's doing this for the what's that organization?
17th Shard?
The 17th Shard, thank you.
Is it the 17th Shard? Is it Silverlight?
It's
Pretty sure it's the
Silverlight.
I'm pretty sure it's the
Why am I-
17th Shard. What are you talking about?
No, yeah, it's the 17th Shard. Thank you. Sorry, I just like brain fart. She's doing this for the 17th Shard. She's like a traveling scholar, like investigating all these places. Anyways, I don't think she would be so imposed to, or like, I don't think she would go in and be like, let me play this character and like
Yeah.
get into the politics of everything. It's like Hoyd's basically always like into the politics. Like here we see him helping out Sereni, who's doing, like very important stuff.
Yeah.
In Warbreaker, he's like the storyteller that is often in the court of gods, in the politics. In Mistborn, he's a information broker.
Yeah, he's an informant.
And he's obviously has to know all about the politics of everything. Obviously, Stormlight, he's wit, the King's wit, he's in there.
Mistborn Era 2, we see him as Waxilium's path driver.
I think is less like, oh, he's in the politics, and more like he knows Wax is like the main character on this world.
Yeah.
And so he put himself into Wax's life. Yeah. So I'm just saying, like, Hoyd likes to get in there.
Yeah.
Chrysala is definitely like background character. That's all.
Cool. Anyway,
he goes on to say, like, all Aeons required. Well, he says, while most Elantrians could draw the Aeons, all it required was a steady hand and a basic knowledge of how to write the characters. I always have to put and intent in there. So, but he's saying, like, the masters of Andor knew all the tiny little specifications and like
alterations.
Thank you. Alteration marks and stuff like that. Anyways,
it's modifying Aeons is what you're
yeah. Modifiers. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Alterers. The heck?
But he keeps getting frustrated because he says if only he would explain what it means to channel the door.
Yeah.
And Galadon like looks up and he's like, door, Suli?
I know about the door.
He's like, that sounds like a Duladin term.
Mm-hmm.
And Raoden's like, oh my goodness, you're right. Because we already discussed this. Door in this book is not written out in the Aeon language, which is what he's reading it in. It's written out phonetically.
Holy cow. This is our next pages. What the heck? I basically have almost every single line on this page.
Anywhere where I was like, so this bracket means this is all highlighted.
Okay.
So, like, if there's, so I have plenty of highlights.
I have basically every line on these next 2 pages highlighted. Jax has, some rendition of that. But it's talking about the door. And I think this is very important to understand. Even though what they're talking about is kind of different than the door, the investiture of the 2 shards in the cognitive realm. That's what we call that investiture, is the door. I think it's still important to understand in the context of Cell what the door would be.
Yeah.
So,
I don't think they're too far off.
I think there's a reason the investiture was named the door,
Yeah.
right? So basically, Galdon's like, duh, it's not an Aeon. It doesn't have two vowels. That's the little part where we're always like, well, at least I'm always like, whenever I see a word with like two vowels within like 3 or 4 letters, I always consider it an Aeon in here.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, that fits the pattern of two vowels. Anyways. He says, well, if it's the same word, then it refers to something in Jesker. Raoden talks about the mysteries again.
Yeah, he's like, what does the mysteries have to do with this? And Galadon's like, he says, I think Dolaken, Suli. I've told you, Jesker and the mysteries are not the same thing.
Raoden just like,
he don't get it.
There's some things he just don't get. He don't get like, that they're dead.
Like, we're dead, Suli.
They don't. We're dead. Go to, yeah. He doesn't get it. He also doesn't get that the mysteries aren't Jesker. Anyways, pushing on. Galadon's like, it's hard to explain. Door is the unseen power. It's in everything, but cannot be touched. It affects nothing, yet it controls everything. Like, why does a river flow? Raoden's like, gravity. And then Galadon goes, yeah, but why does the Why does the water want to flow?
And Raoden's like, I wasn't aware that the water needed to want to flow.
He says, it does. And the door is its motivation. So theologically, that's what the door is.
Okay.
Now,
the door, and it says in here, he says, Jesker teaches that only humans have the ability or the curse of being oblivious to the door.
Yeah.
And so he kind of talks about like everything around us, everything in nature is the door.
Mm-hmm.
And he explains it as like, if you go get a bird, take it, from its nest, raise it in your home, it will still learn to fly.
Yeah.
And he's like, who taught it to fly? And Raoden's like, the door. And Galadon's like, you're right, you're catching on.
You got it. even if Raoden was kind of like,
yeah, he was like,
the door. He's like, yeah, that's right. So Raoden was kind of like, the explanation sounded too religiously mysterious to really be like something he could use. But it's still good to know.
Anyways. And then he goes ahead here and just like spoils the ending. Like,
yeah,
he's like, that must be it, Galadon. That's why we're still alive.
Yeah.
And he's like, and Galadon's like, what are you babbling about?
What are you talking about?
He says, that is why we live on. Even though our bodies don't work anymore, don't you see, we don't eat, yet we get the energy to keep moving. There must be some link between Elantrians and the door.
It feeds our bodies, providing the energy we need to survive, which we learn is exactly what the door, but is that the door actually the investiture door does for Elantrians. It feeds their body. It's what keeps them living and not being a Rioed Elantrian.
Do you think that an Elantrian who isn't Rioed needs to sleep?
Ooh, I'm trying to think if there's anything said like that, but I would almost say no. I'd almost say no because like so with the Rioed Elantrian, and he says it here, it's like we're only getting
he's
enough.
Like, it's just not enough. He's like, something's wrong with it.
He says because it's barely enough. Aeon Door no longer works. The power that once fueled the city has been reduced to a bare trickle. So I'm almost thinking like it's the door's just not giving them enough energy to not sleep. But if you're a full Elantrian,
I don't know, because we see returned sleep.
Mm-hmm.
The only people we see like be able to cheat sleep are ferrochemists, but they have to store wakefulness as is,
Yeah.
And I guess pewter arms we see a little bit be able to cheat sleep, but they pay for it.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's any other type of investiture that keeps you going. I mean, like, because Stormlight, like, invigorates you, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, it makes you feel like you need to move and, like, do stuff, but it doesn't necessarily keep you from sleeping.
Yeah, I just don't know if we've seen anybody with a constant enough stream of Stormlight to fully test that theory.
That's true. That's true.
I think that Elantrians still need to sleep. I think they do.
I think that Elantrians have a unique ability that the door sustains them in like Elantrians don't have to eat.
Right.
I feel like they wouldn't have to sleep either. But I don't know. Maybe we'll find out later. Maybe there's something that gets said once they become full Elantrians.
Yeah.
Anyways, and he also makes this guess.
Yeah.
He says there's a link between this land and the door. Like, dude is bullseyeing everything.
Yeah.
He gets it. He just doesn't get it.
Because he doesn't understand that an Aeon is a map. He doesn't,
Yeah.
like, that's the key piece of information he's missing.
Yeah.
Because he understands, he's like, yeah, there must be some link between this land and the door. And Galadon's like, why do you say that? And he's like, well, because Aeon Door was developed in Arelon and nowhere else.
Yeah, he's like, the furthest you travel from Elantris, the weaker Aeon Door powers become. It can take Tios, it can take Doulas, because they all have
Araline
blood in them.
And he's like, but it only takes them if they're living in Arelon at the time. He's like, so obviously there's a connection. He's like, I've never seen a Fjordell taken, no matter how long they live in Arelon.
Yeah, yeah. So, dude just like...
be spoiling the ending. That's what we'd be doing.
Yes, but dude is reading the Coppermind page on Aeon Door. Because it's literally just like, this is how it works. If you get further, it becomes weaker. You need the bloodline. Fjordell people can't be taken. He, like, gets it.
Yeah.
He's standing on business. But he's not clocking it. Anyways, and so he was like, where was your farm? He was like, oh, it was the north side of Duladel. He's like, see? Like, you were right next to the Araline border. Like, you're close enough, sort of thing. Anyways.
And Galadon says, well, Raoden's like trying to figure out what that connection might be. Galadon says, hypothesize away, Suli. I don't see much empirical good in it, though. And Raoden's like, all right, well, I'll stop theorizing as soon as you tell me where a simple farmer learned the word empirical, because they have this back and forth thing where Galadon just insists that all he is a simple farmer.
Like just the page before he's like, it sounds like it makes sense, Suli, but I'm just a simple farmer. And it's giving Serene vibes where she's like, we are, after all, just women.
Only women.
It's the same thing here.
Yeah.
So, and that's,
yeah, it says, Galadon didn't respond, but Raoden thought he could hear the doula chuckling softly.
Dude just kicked his
I just
camera,
kicked my
wiggled
camera.
about. Anyways, that's the end of Raoden's chapter. It was a good chapter.
It was a pretty good chapter. I liked it.
It is a very information-dense chapter. I don't know why you just closed that, but...
I'd put a bookmark in it.
Okay, cool.
We're going on to our segment.
We are going to move on to our segment. What did he say?
For those of you who have not been following along, this is our Words of Brandon segment, where one of us will find a Words of Brandon on the Coppermind. So it's WOB, wordsofbrandon.coppermind.net. It's labeled as the Arcanum.
Yep.
It has basically any public setting where Brandon Sanderson has answered questions. It's all recorded here. And this also feeds into the Coppermind. That's where a lot of the information from the Coppermind comes. What we do is we go in, we find a question that somebody posed to Brandon Sanderson. So this week I found the question. I'm going to pose that same question to Jake. He has to guess how Brandon answered that question. If he gets right, he gets a point.
Yep.
And
we're sitting at
2-1 right now.
2 points Jacob, 1 point Jax. It's about Words of Brandon, but I saw a TikTok comment argument.
Okay.
About, actually, misremembering. I saw a TikTok, two creators were going back and forth about Words of Brandon, because one of them had said something to say like, oh, Words of Brandon are canonical, and then like someone else stitched that video and explained why they weren't canonical
Yeah.
and how like, oh, well, he said this, but then like it changed in the book. Anyways, I followed that whole like drama and I think the consensus came down to be anything Brandon says is canonical until the something in the book says it's not.
Yeah.
So
until contradicted in a book, any words of Brandon is canonical.
Yeah. So you can take whatever Brandon's answer to this question as canon.
Yeah.
And that's fun. What's the question?
Not a canon question.
Okay.
I did. So this isn't the question, but while I was looking for the question, I came across this and I wanted to talk about it for just like, we're not going to like dive into it.
Okay.
But I thought it was so fun. Other than the Lord Ruler and people that are using the bands of mourning, will we ever see a full twinborn again? Because we know when, during the Catasandra, Sazed remade the world to an extent that you Mistborn don't exist anymore, and full ferochemists don't exist anymore. You're born with one Mistborn power or one ferochemical power, or one of each if you're a twinborn.
Yes.
So a full twinborn would be, again, kind of another Lord Ruler who has all of the ferochemical and all of the Mistborn powers. And Brandon says, yeah, I think you will.
Oh.
And I was like, ooh.
I like that.
I'm excited for that.
Okay. So as of recording this, Brandon is probably actually currently doing a live reading of the first Ghost Bloods. He's probably reading like the first couple chapters or something of Mistborn Era 3 Ghost Bloods Book 1.
Yes.
And it comes out on his YouTube in like 30 days. I cannot wait 30 days for this because I am under the same thing as if you know who Cosmere Mo is, she said recently on one of her lives that I was watching that she's more excited for Ghost Bloods than she is for the Voidlight Archives, which is what Brandon has kind of deemed the Stormlight Archives era 2.
That's a beautiful name.
Yeah, well, because Stormlight doesn't exist anymore. So why would you call it the Stormlight Archives, right?
Yeah, but Voidlight
I know
shouldn't exist either. If
but
Stormlight doesn't exist, Voidlight
that's what
doesn't
Brandon
either.
said. That's what Brandon said.
That's crazy.
He's always kind of thought of it in his head as the Stormlight Archives and the Voidlight Archives. Anyways, she's more excited for Ghost Bloods than she is for the Voidlight Archives. And I have to agree.
Yeah.
I low-key just have to agree. I am so excited.
Okay, and I know that I already said something contradictory to that, where I said I'm more excited to see Roshar. But I don't know if that's true, because I'm so excited for Ghost Bloods.
I think Ghost Bloods is like the launching pad
into the Cosmere,
into the new era of Cosmere, because like Wind and Truth, we kind of like, this is the first half of the Cosmere. At least that's how I've seen it. And then anything past Wind and Truth is going to be like the second half of the Cosmere.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited for Scadrial with a Harmony that's not blinded.
Okay, but Harmony that's not blinded, great. I feel like Harmony is going to fall into Discord.
Yeah, probably. I'm fully expecting Sazed to become a villain.
Yeah.
And it's going to be epic. I'm so excited for Harmony to actually be doing something. For Kelsier to be like pushing Harmony to do something. Because that's what happened at the end of Mistborn Era 2. Is Sazed and Kelsier sat down on the roof and talked. And he went, we need Mistborns. We need these powers. Like, we are not going to survive. Because, like, Autonomy just tried to attack them, and they, like, barely made it.
Yeah, they wouldn't have made it, probably, without Wan Shilu coming in. And
without the Ghost Bloods' help.
Yeah.
So, that's Kelsier's, like, I had to help you guys. I don't want Scadrial to have to rely on outer help.
Yeah.
You know? And so he's like, I need you to make Mistborn again. I need you to, like, do all this. And during this conversation, Sazed hid the fact that Lerasium was discovered again, because that's what Kelser's been looking for, because he wants to make Mistborn. So he hid the fact of that.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see what happens next. So Ghost Blood's gonna be epic. What were we talking about?
What did you say?
Twinborn.
Yeah, full Twinborn.
That would be so sick. Now, I almost would say, like, Brandon's gonna do something cheeky. Like, we know there's gonna be twins in either Era 3 or Era 4. I think it's Era 3.
Okay.
Like, some of our main characters are gonna be twins. If you want to know how we know that, maybe go read some more recent published works that we're not going to talk about right now. And I almost would say, like, he's going to do something cheeky, like one of them's going to be a full ferrochemist and one of them's going to be a Mistborn. But since they're twins, they have some sort of like connection where they can like borrow each other's powers or something cheeky like that. It would be crazy if we saw an actual like full Twinborn, because that's Lord Ruler type of power there.
Yeah.
And Lord Ruler lived 1,000 years oppressing basically all of Scadrial, except for, the southern continent. Were the Malwish around?
Dude, I don't know.
When the Lord Ruler
Gotta be. So, because when Sazed talks about remaking the world, he talks about like the other continent that he didn't make into this paradise and how they flourish. That's why the Malwish are so far ahead of Elendel.
Yeah.
Is because Sazed kind of like babied Elendel and all these people and gave them like plants that just spontaneously sprout fruit and like all this stuff. And he's like, and I left this southern continent, alone, and they're doing so much better than you guys. Like, you guys were supposed to have the radio like 200 years ago.
Yeah.
But you just never discovered it because you never needed it. So,
anyways, let's actually
back to our segment.
Back to the actual question.
This comes from the Dragonsteel 2022 event.
Recent. Well, kind of.
A couple years.
Yeah.
If Teft, Dalinar, and Zael were to play a game of Mario Kart,
oh my gosh,
how would they place? Now, if you can just give the rankings, and if you get the rankings in the right order, you'll get the point. He does say a little bit more. He gives reasoning as to why everyone placed where they.
Yeah. I read this Words of Brandon probably over a year ago.
Okay.
It sounds familiar, but I don't remember the ranking. Teft, Dalinar, and Zael.
Mm-hmm.
Zael is Vasher, for those of y'all that don't know. Okay. Dalinar. Dude, I'm gonna be doing some mental gymnastics here. Okay, Teft is kind of like the general, right? He was a military man. I feel like typically when it comes to like leaders, Dalinar's also a leader. Okay, I'm going like this. Zael comes first.
Okay.
He's not afraid to do like underhanded things to get what he wants. Dalinar comes second, and Teft comes third.
Okay.
I think Teft doesn't mind coming last in this situation. I don't really know why Dalinar would come second. There's nothing in there. I just think that like Vasher would like cheat almost to win. How'd I do?
Final answer?
Final answer.
Nailed it. Nailed it.
Holy, I'm so good at this.
Brandon Sanderson. Zael cheats, and Zael wins. Teft lets Dalinar win because a good sergeant knows when an officer needs an ego boost. So that's our ranking.
Dude.
Nailed it. Nailed it.
I'm low-key like, I only remembered something about Teft being like a good good military man and coming in last. And I totally guessed on the like the Zael one. I was like, okay, what do we know about him? Right? He created Ghost Bloods. He did all this. But he's not afraid to like do the dirty work.
Mhm.
Like he goes to that rebel leader in the prison and like forces him to give him his breath, and like, you know, does
Yeah.
some scary stuff. So I was like, he probably is okay like doing whatever it takes to win. So I can't believe I got that.
You nailed that. Points now stand 3-1.
Let's see if you can bounce back next
Yeah.
week.
Yeah, I was hoping to even it up next week, but that's apparently not going to happen. And that is all we've got for this part of the episode.
Yeah, we're gonna jump into Sereni and Hrathen's chapter in part 2. So see you there.